the way out is to try to freeze the conflict. And this is where I disagree with you to some extent. I do think that we need to put pressure on the Russians not to resupply the Syrian regime. I think we need to do everything we can to interdict the kind of assistance that's coming in from Iran as well. But I don't think we should be contributing to it as well by putting more weapons in the hands of others in Syria. I think encouraging a freezing in place is probably, at this stage, the most pragmatic, negotiated settlement where we would find community with the Russians and the Chinese. But what does that mean? That doesn't mean we just simply stop there. I think the other part of what we should be doing is protecting the center. And by that I mean is protecting the center of civil society, of civic authority, of ordinary people, like you said, who are affected by the fighting, who actually make communities still in Syria run. Make their lives possible. And I think this is where, again, this conflict is different than the one in Bosnia, is different than the one in Lebanon, where we saw cantonization into mini totalitarian states, where that kind of horizontal communication between people across communes or with their brethren abroad was not possible. Here it exists. Here it happens in an active way. How do you help that population of Syrian children that aren't getting education? How about distance education? Sounds absolutely science fiction, but the reality is when you have most of the populations connected, when you have refugees in places like Zaatari camp flocking to internet cafes, why not use that? It may be small, maybe a drop in the bucket, maybe it's not as attractive as handing out blankets and food to children, but you know what? It's a small little step where we actually have expertise, where we as a small middle power can make a difference. And I think small steps towards an eventual goal is sometimes the best way to take on a big problem.
Okay, let me just stay with you for